Hey, in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to create a content calendar. And specifically, I'm going to be showing you how you can actually have a free CRM template. So, how you can manage this inside of a CRM. So, what you can see on the screen here, this is Monday.com, and they actually have these templates built into their program. So, the link to this page here to use this template is in the description below. When you click it, it's like 2 clicks and you're up and running, and you can have a free trial set up for you. I believe it's 14 days with Monday.com. So once you click that link, you'll be looking at something that looks like this on the screen right here. Now, what I want to do is walk you through all the columns and explain how this works and why this is going to be really helpful for you if you're managing a team and you have a lot of content. Now, it's really don't need like a really robust content calendar if you're just doing a couple things. But the more content you start to create and the more reach you start getting for your business, well, it's going to get a little bit complicated trying to manage all that. And I'm going to show you how this is going to help with that problem. So as we're going through here, there's really 3 sections here. You have draft campaigns, live campaigns, and completed/paused. So once you open these up, you can then see all the different campaigns in here. Now, what you have here is campaign 1, and then if you want to open it up a little bit, you can then start seeing updates, files, conversations that have happened. Same thing happens here if you click start a conversation, if you want to just like write something really quick in this campaign to somebody on your team. Super helpful, way better than trying to do stuff in email because stuff just gets lost. Really helpful too is if you have somebody that gets replaced in your team or you have a new team member, they can go in and easily be able to see all the communications around all the different campaigns you're doing. Now here you'll assign a campaign owner, and this is really cool. They already have this built in, so is this blog, website, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram? Now we can edit labels, and then let's say you're like, nope, I want TikTok. That's part of our strategy. I'm going to click enter. We have TikTok, and then this is now a TikTok video. Now what I would suggest too is, just adding a new label because maybe you don't want it to be that color. So why don't we go TikTok, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this one again default. So then apply. And you can see how quickly you can just kind of be able to change things around. And you're going to say, I want this to be a TikTok video. So as you move across, you give a campaign brief. And then this is really important. The 2 things that I think are the most important as far as filling out the information here are campaign timeline and then also your campaign status. And some people would argue budget, but we'll get to that. So you can add in your campaign timeline, and you can really just do this really easily just by like clicking and dragging kind of thing. And then if you're saying this is starting, well, today's the 7th, why don't we make it so that this is due the following Monday, the 15th. So that's all you have to do to set up that date. And then you got your budget that you can change here, and then also your campaign status. Now, the reason that I like the campaign status, which I'll explain right now, is you can do what's called filtered views. So imagine that your content is just getting more and more robust and you're in so many different channels and it's working great, but it's just like hard to really control the chaos. Like, how am I going to keep track of all this? Well, with filtered views, what you can do is you can go in here and you can slide down your columns. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking for campaign status. So all I want to do is if I'm like the marketing director or chief of content, whatever the role might be, I want to see what content campaigns are stuck. So when I do that, you can see now I have a very limited view and I just see the 2 that are stuck. And if I go back and I unclick this, now I see all the campaigns. So this is a super helpful way just to go in and see where the issues are so that you can address those and get those fixed. Now, as far as the other assets here, well, we have the assets column. There's a link to the campaign. So if it's like the final campaign and you want to display that, you can also drop in files. And the cool thing is you can just, customize these columns to fit exactly what you need for your situation. Now, the reason that the campaign timeline is really helpful is the way that people view information is different, right? And what I mean by that is like one person might like this content calendar view that I have here, but somebody else is like, oh, I hate that. I can't even like follow it. Well, for them, you can go to more views and then you can start to get an idea of what might work for them. So you can encourage people to look at things in their own preference. So for me, I kind of like sometimes these what they're called Gantt timelines because I can see on a linear scale left to right like where campaigns are at and what's heading in the right direction. You can always like change these up a little bit because campaign 2 isn't like a really great name. So you're going to say campaign 15, just to kind of give it a little bit more of a vibe here. So if you go to more views, what I want to do is go to calendar here. So this is really nice because now you can just see like, all right, I got campaign 1 and I renamed the other one campaign 15. If I want to click on one of those, I can just click on it and I can see all the information on it and I can see what's being worked on in a content calendar view. Again, super helpful. Now, one of the really neat features too is you can do something called the dashboard. So the way the dashboard works is you can start like picking out different data points of things that you think might be important to you. So for this particular one, I would probably want a calendar in there. All right. And then I'm going to add another widget. I want numbers. I want to be able to see what my numbers are. So what this is doing right here is this is actually taking your budget numbers and then it's adding them up. So if I go back to the main table and now I was to go in here and let's say we change this number and I'm going to make this 30,000. I think that number we just saw was like 6,000 something. If I go back to my dashboard, now you can see that that number is like 33,750. And the cool thing is that you can always change and like adjust this in settings for what works for you. You can make this budget spent. You can make it wherever you want. But what you can do is you can start building a dashboard, which becomes your command center when you walk into this. So one thing I would probably do is like I would want to see whenever things are stuck. So show me that on the dashboard. So now what I'm looking at is only a filtered view of this calendar of stuck items. So again, as I mentioned earlier, there is a link in the description below for this specific template. It is an affiliate link, so if you end up purchasing with Monday.com, I may get a commission, but it is free to try out for 14 days, and I highly suggest you get into the tool and try it out. Now, one of the really important things too is automations. So if you're looking at workflow automations, let's say that we want to do one when a status changes to something, we can move the item to group. So what does it mean by groups? Well, these are different groups here, and then we have our campaign statuses here. So again, why don't we go back to this, and then what I'm going to do is say when status, and I want campaign status, changes to completed, move the item to group, and I'm going to do completed. So create automation. So you can imagine what this is going to do. Basically now, campaign 1, if I'm working on it, and then somebody clicks completed, what this is going to do is it's actually going to move it. As you can see, it just pushed it down into the campaign, into completed and paused. Now, unfortunately, this one's like already like on here. So if I was to go to draft and then say completed, it's probably going to push this down as well, but this is a welcome information one. So you can see how this moves things around. And there's so many different automations that you can choose from that are going to help you set up your content calendar to your needs. Now, I just pretty much gave you a beginner's guide to Monday.com, but I do have a more thorough tutorial on the screen right here. And then beneath that, if you're interested in the automations, I have that available as well. So you can check out either of those videos. It's going to walk you through exactly how Monday.com is going to help you manage your content schedule. All right, I'll catch you in the next video.